Tip number 1 as a defender in a 1v1 is that you want your body positioning both angled in your approach as well as in your stance. You don't want your hips directly squared at the attacker because then they can go to your left, to your right, or directly underneath you. So you want your feet angled but not turned entirely to the side, as you want one of your sides to face the attacker. If your feet were hands on a clock, you would want your feet positioned at either 10 and 4 as shown in the first image or 8 and 2 as shown in the second image. This positioning allows you to push them to their left or to their right. Standing at 10 and 4 will push them to their left, and standing at 8 and 2 will push them to their right. However, it is so important that you're not directly in front of the attacker. Standing directly in front of them and turning your hips won't do anything in order to push them in the direction you want them to go. At 10 and 4, you need to be slightly to the left in order to push them to the right. And similarly, at 8 and 2, to push them to their right, you need to be slightly over. By the way, I'm Dylan Joseph, soccer trainer, #1 best-selling Amazon author. Also, as part of your stance, you want to be in a quarter squat so that you have a lower center of gravity and that you're more explosive. Also, you want your arms out for a few reasons. Firstly, it'll make you appear a lot bigger, which will make them more likely to be scared and nervous to try to get around you. Second, it makes it very easy for you to get your arms in front of the attacker to slow them down so they can't explode by you. Thirdly, it allows you to use your arms' momentum to turn around in order to quickly adjust your body if the attacker tries to turn you in a different direction. Therefore, tip number 1 is all about body positioning. Tip number 2, in order to improve as a defender in a 1v1, is to understand exactly what the attacker wants to do. First, they're going to aim to use a foot skill. If you're backpedaling, also known as jockeying, a good attacker is going to try to use a body feint to get past you, whereas an okay attacker is going to try to use a scissor. If you reach in to try to steal the ball, a good attacker is going to use a self-pass to get the ball out of the way, and an okay attacker is going to use a roll in order to get the ball out of the way of your foot that's trying to poke the ball. Therefore, the best way to prevent a foot skill is to stop them from even getting the ball in the first place. And could you give this video a like? Applying an annoyingly large amount of pressure on them to make it so that they're not even open will ensure that their teammates don't pass them the ball, or so you can cut off or poke away an attempted pass to the person that you're covering. Second, a good attacking player will want to attack with speed. Think about it, there's normally only 2 forwards on an 11-person team, but 4 defenders on the other team. Therefore, in many situations, an attacker is going to have to beat 2 or more defenders in order to score. So if they have a 1v1, they love those odds and they don't want to give up this great opportunity by playing slowly. So to prevent them from attacking with speed means that you've got to be pretty handsy, not grabby, but handsy, and make sure to place your forearm directly against them in order to adjust them and move them where you need them. And physically using your arms against their body in order to slow them down a bit is something that will stop them from getting to their top speed, and refs often don't call anytime you use your arms against another player on the other team, but avoid it in the box. And generally, a ref only calls the foul if you grab onto them or to their jersey and hold on. Third, an attacking player wants to use their dominant foot in order to shoot. Therefore, depending on the game situation, you usually want to push them to their weak foot. Now, let's discuss situations that you'll find yourself in on the field. In a 1v1 in the middle of the field, you should aim to push them to try to shoot with their weak foot. So how do you know which foot is their weak foot? Always assume it's their left foot until they prove you otherwise, because only 1 in 10 players is actually left-footed. However, if they're dribbling down a sideline, do not worry which foot is their weak foot. Simply direct them out of bounds or kick the ball out. This will give your team plenty of time to recover and make it 10 times harder for them to score once your team is back in position. For tip number 3, let's cover exactly what you must avoid in a 1v1. Unless you're at least 75% certain that you'll be able to steal the ball if you lunge in, do not lunge in. Continue to jockey and backpedal, looking for an opportunity where they push the ball either too far or where you have the ability to stop their shot. However, if you just poke the ball away or slow the pace of play enough so that your teammates have time to come back and help defend, then you've done your job. And subscribe.